accountable who are committing these extremely violent, extremely bad acts that are causing fear unnecessarily in a city that we love so much and against people we love so much. So once again, we're asking for anybody with any information, call Crime Stoppers. You can do it anonymously at 821-2222. We'd be more than happy to take that information, but that's the only way we're going to have success in holding these individuals accountable.
Thank you, Chief. And thank you for your work. We'll take a few questions, but no questions about the ongoing investigation. I don't want to have any questions compromise the success that the Chief is having so far. So if there are any questions, try to take them down.
Is the I-10 incident connected to South Claiborne from the weekend?
At this time, there's no information to support that that would be connected to the South Claiborne incident. Certainly detectives, federal agents, state agents are working around the clock, working on leads for everything that's coming in. That's why we need information so importantly, so that we can get those details, analyze it, work through investigating those details, so that we can be sure that they're not connected. But right now, there's nothing to support that they're connected.
Chief, you've mentioned the mayor's involvement in the investigation a couple of times. A lot of people have been wondering where has she been. Can you speak to why she isn't here right now, and how actively is she staying involved in getting updates from you on the investigation?
The mayor's been getting constant updates from me and other members of her team. We've been keeping her apprised every step of the way of all the things that we've been doing. She gives her full support, and what I can tell you is that she is aware and has been briefed on every action that we've taken as a police department, and is aware as right now as to any updates or latest developments. And I personally been in personal contact with her to make sure she's aware of everything that's happening.
Is she in town?
And Rob, this is a clarion call for the public to get engaged. Mayor wasn't a witness to this crime. This is about people who saw something and know something. And we got to make sure we close this case, and we got to make sure the right people are brought to justice. We have made too many strides as a city, from the implementation to the consent decree. We are close to 95% in compliance as relates to the consent decree, which is unheard of and unprecedented in this country. This community is getting safer and safer each month up until Sunday, and we are not willing to go back. But we need the public to step up to help us do that. Any other questions?
So I know you don't want anything specific to the investigation, but it's been reported from court documents about a possible, it's already out there, about a possible torched car that may have been found. Is there any update that NOPD can provide now that we know that information is at least been reported and put out there?
Well, certainly our crime lab has been to process that. Investigators are working to ascertain whether or not that is connected to this crime. It certainly has some evidentiary value, but investigators and federal agents are working, number one, to find the true owner, to find why it was there, why it was used, why it was burned, and all of those questions and the answers to those questions we're looking to get as a result of the investigative process. So we don't have any updates as to whether it's connected, but we're certainly working to find that answer, and if it is, to connect all the dots to produce a quality case to identify the perpetrators.
In regards to today's interstate shooting, we were told that you went to the hospital to speak with the victims. Is there anything that you can tell us about that visit?
I did. 2 adult males, one, very minor superficial wounds, but they were shot, one in the leg, I believe one in the arm and leg. The infant was a grazed wound. They were in good condition. Both were sitting up in the bed, able to talk to me, and I just wanted to reassure them that, number one, we care about them, but number two, the NOPD was working to find out how this happened and who did this, so we can hold those folks accountable too, which speaks to our message to the citizens. Please come forward and tell us what you know. So if there's someone who knows what happened, saw it or heard it, or has any information, please call Crime Stoppers right away, or you can call us right away.
And I know that happened just a few hours ago, but are there any updates to that investigation?
To my knowledge, there are no updates.
To Juliana's question, and to your question as well, whether or not any of these things are connected or whether none of them are connected, there are private citizens right now who are watching this, who have those answers. That's the purpose of today, is to close these cases. We've got everybody who's hired to do this job on it, working around the clock, whether it leads to one large case or a number of separate cases. The police department is going to do that job to track down those leads to solve each one. But the role of the private citizen is paramount, and it cannot be understated. we have been through some dark days as a city as it relates to public safety. We cannot afford to go back. But it is not the job of City Hall, it is not just the job of NOPD, it is all of us as a community's role to make this happen.
Chief, can you talk to Crime Stoppers? Is it producing any leads, and can you talk about any of those potential leads?
Well, I can say that there are some tips that are coming through Crime Stoppers, which we're grateful for. But we don't want to celebrate with what we have. What we want is for more citizens to come and be as accurate and specific as possible. And so we can never get too much information. We're grateful for the tips that have come in, and they are coming in. We're asking for the citizens to give us more, because we know that there are more people out there that have very specific information.
Do you know how many tips have come in?
I don't know exactly how many, but I can tell you they've come in every single day.
Chief, do you have any information on suspects or suspect vehicle in the interstate shooting today?
We do not.
And Chief, is there anything that is going to be released in terms of surveillance video? I know people have called and said, maybe we know, maybe if we can see, we'll be able to tell if we know who this could be. I don't know if there are already plans for that to be released.
Certainly, if there is video that would be enough to present an identification, we want to put that out there. Everything we're getting right now is evidence in a criminal matter. But when we find video that we can put out that clearly would identify or give a citizen the opportunity to make a clear identification, certainly we're going to bring that to the public.
One more question? Chief, do you have any more reason to believe that Saturday's shooting on Claiborne was gang-related?
I think the information that we received early on that night and subsequent information points to that was gang-related. All right. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Appreciate the leadership.
Hey Chief, just, I didn't want to ask while this was recording, but just a question. Do we know if the cell phone that was found on Jeremiah Lee, if that's been helpful in any way, or if anything?
I think we still got a lot of hotlines on right now. It's probably best not to go into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Kevin. Did Keith get with you? Yeah. Okay.